Hello, everyone, and welcome to Doing Business in Bentonville. I'm Andy Wilson. I'm your host today, and it is such a pleasure to be with you again today. And before we get into our guests, I just want to say to all of our viewers, thank you. We appreciate what you're doing, and because of you, you've exceeded our expectations. And when the team said, "Hey, you're in 100 countries, over 100 countries, and 2,000 views a day," I want to say it's all because of you. So thank you very much. Now, to our guest today, Erika McCourt, welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Good to see you again, Andy.
It is. Hey, we were just chatting, we're talking about cycling. So, and she's a cyclist, and so we're late coming on the air because of that, I guess. No, it's great. So, Erika, I met you several weeks ago, and she was in one of our live events, and we're going to talk about our upcoming live event in a moment. But I met her there, and I just kept emailing her and said, "You got to come on the podcast." And she finally showed up. So, Erika, thank you for making time. Yeah. It is so great. She's got an amazing career. Check her out on LinkedIn right now, and you will begin to realize what I am beginning to realize, that she's an exceptional individual. And you're going to get to know her a bit this morning and in our time together. And then, you're going to join her on LinkedIn. I know you will. So you work with Google.
I do work for Google.
What an amazing company.
It really is. It's fun. Who gets to have this much fun at work?
It's not.
It's amazing. It's real.
I know. Every day, I'm amazed at the company. It's something exciting, changing, moving, improving. It's just such a help in our lives.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow. So tell us what you do there.
Sure. I am the account executive dedicated to Walmart. So I work for Google, but my customer is Walmart. So everything I do day in and day out is all around Walmart's global operations. We are on the cloud side of the business. And so what that means is, as they're trying to figure out data and AI and agents and all of those fancy buzzy words that everybody uses all the time, that's what myself and my peers on the team all supporting them in.
Wow. Well, thank you for doing that. We appreciate all the work and all support. Now, one of the things you talk about in your bio, you talk about your core values, and I love your core competencies that you talk about. Could you share some of those today for our people? Because I would tell you, when you think of very successful leaders, and if you're like me, you would lean in and say, okay, well, how do they do that? What do they focus on? What do they get up thinking about? And so talk about some of those competencies that you have.
For sure. I think in my career, as I've had to grow and move, I have a career that started and looks very different from where it began to where it is today. And I think in that work ethic and really being curious and wanting to learn are all things that are so core and essential. I've had the pleasure of leading teams, and I think that being somebody who can influence mentoring, leading, developing talent is such a gift. And it's such a fun opportunity. And I am a mom as well, so I get to grow every day by trying to parent, which if any of you have kids, that's way harder than anything work related. And I think in all of that, the biggest overarching thing is integrity. I think that you are who you are, and it has to be something that is pervasive in everything that you do and say. You have to be trustworthy. You have to follow through with what you say you're going to do. That's how people respect working with you and want to hire you and put you in these amazing companies.
That's wonderful. The two things you said so much wonderful things there, but you talked about integrity first. That's so important. You're right. Because, people, our team will only trust us, will follow us as far as they trust us.
Exactly.
And if they trust you, they're going to be with you.
Yeah.
All the way. And if they don't trust you, they will not. And, and then that affects leaders, no question, credibility and success. So that's powerful what you said. And then you said, one of the things that you said, be curious. We could take that apart for a while.
Yeah, for sure.
That's that. So as people listen to us and look at you, listen to you, look at you and say, okay, all right, you're successful. You're with a great company. You're working with one of the largest companies in the world. And, not just anybody can do that. So when you say you're curious, what does that look like to you?
I want to attribute it back to my time at Microsoft. Our CEO, Satya Nadella, gave us the tools to think about having a growth mindset. And I think it reminded me that you don't need to know everything and you don't have to have it all, but you need to be curious and you need to be willing to fail fast.
Yeah.
And that's what's really helped me, because I took a role where I was selling into Walmart and working for more consumer goods companies to pivoting into tech. And it is imposter syndrome every day. You just sit there and say, I kind of will coin it as saying fake it till you make it. But sometimes you have to speak with confidence. But if you hear something or if something is said to you that you don't know, number one, with integrity, say, I don't know the answer to that, but let me get back to you and get back to them. And then number two, go do the homework and go do the research and be curious. Once you start figuring out that all of this stuff kind of comes and connects together, and it's never going to stop. This revolution that we're in right now is insane pace. Every day something is changing, new announcements are coming out, and it's impossible to be all over all of it. So you have to have that position of being curious and willing to learn instead of thinking that you've got it all mastered.
All right. It fell fast. I like that. I wanted to bring that back because, you're right. There's so much uncertainty happen and change and uncertainty. And you gave us great advice. I mean, that's exactly what we should be doing. And so thank you for that. That's powerful. Now, you're very involved in nonprofits. Talk about your nonprofit passion.
Yeah, I believe that you should find something you're passionate about and give back. And so a couple of the experiences that I've been able to have, we built our family through adoption. We've adopted 6 children. And there's an organization that was called Shared Beginnings. It's now Lifeline, but they were a part of our journey for the last 2 adoptions that we did. And I was able to serve on their board and lead their board. And it's really just incredible to dispel the myths of adoption, to meet the families that are in that journey, to see the courage of the women who are making the decision to adopt. It's a messy area. And I've learned so much about mental health and just helping support people through these really hard life decisions. And then I've had the privilege of raising these children and being in the front row to seeing their lives and how they're evolving and understanding their story. And so that's one that I'm super passionate about, that's local here in Arkansas, that we're super stoked about. And then a new one is Purpose Brands 414. If you've ever seen Beautiful Lives, donate your clothes. They're going to create this beautiful boutique shopping experience for women to be able to go and get affordable clothes to go do what they want to go do. And they are getting ready to launch a version for men, Bold Lives. And so that one's coming to our area soon. And it's just exciting to see how they're enabling and making things accessible for anybody, depending on what they want to do. So if you're local here in Northwest Arkansas, or if you're just passionate about giving, April 9th is our NWA Gives, and you'll be able to find both of those amazing organizations if you want to contribute.
That's wonderful. And something we should have the organization on podcast with you. Okay, let's do it. We say we're gonna do it right now. So let's do it.
I love
it. And let's do it. But I mean, your passion comes through with that, and you can see, you see and hear Erika and her passion. She drives around the nonprofit about her family and now her business. And so I wish we should just spend the rest of the time talking about your passion about the nonprofits because we could. Well, we're going to come back with that. I'll make a commitment to you right now. Okay, now let's talk about Google. Okay, Google's making a big commitment in a little town close to Memphis, Tennessee called West Memphis.
Yeah, they are.
Talk to us about what's happening in West Memphis, Arkansas.
Yeah. So everyone loves AI, right?
Yeah.
They're using it all the time. Well, there's this little engine called a data center that's required to make that engine run. And so they did make a commitment to build a facility. It's a $4 billion data center that's going to be coming to Arkansas. They made a lot of announcements. It's a really exciting time. there is a pursuit to find places where they can put these data centers that they can operate, because the growth is exceeding the capacity that's there today. And so that's what needs to happen, is we need to build more of those. So that is going to bring jobs, hundreds of operational jobs and thousands of construction jobs to put that online, which is amazing for Arkansas. We get very excited about that. And then there's the Energy Impact Fund, which is going to be there. It's $25 million investment. And then there's also Google AI courses. So we're going to be working on investing in training and educating people so that they can make the most out of the AI capabilities, no matter what business you're in.
That's wonderful. I'm very passionate about West Memphis. I actually managed the Walmart store in West Memphis back in the
my goodness.
And so when I was reading about this, that's one reason to bring it up, because there's great stories about that store that when I went there, and at that time it was one of the highest volume stores in the company, and it was the big push for me to see if I could do that after several steps up getting there, and because of the team there survived it, and I was able to move up from there. But the point is, what a great investment in a part of our state that is so needed. And I love the fact that, it's great. It's a great place to do it. But I'm really happy for that area. And it's going to reach across the river also to Tennessee, and I'm sure, and all that. And that'd be wonderful for our region. So thank you for Google for doing that.
Credit, but
yeah, I know, but
we did right by it.
I know that. Okay. So, in your job with Walmart, and, it's a massive responsibility, because of what Walmart is doing. And, we have a new leader now at Walmart. It's transition. There's a new CEO, John Furner. And I remember when John was a little boy. And actually his dad, John's dad, when I came up and I became an officer of the company, John's dad actually was one of my mentors and in the company. So we go way back. I'm so proud.
Cyclist.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. So, so I'm so happy for John and his leadership. And I think John was a great choice and is going to do very, very well with the company. But, I was reading an article recently about AI in people. And John had talked about an article. Then Donna Morris, who's the CHRO of Walmart, and it's a great friend, and she comes on the show from time to time. I seen what she was talking about from the people, and she talked about the relationship with Google and the investment into upskilling and reskilling the associates. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, for sure. So I love it when you work for a company that makes your job easier. These headlines just come out and you're like, man, that was easy. So 1.6 million employees are going to have access to all of Google's online learning and training. And if you take a minute to step back, Walmart is always been very in the forefront of AI and leading John, especially for that. If you even see why Doug stepped down, he was like, there is another generation of world that is going to happen. And I'm okay letting someone else lead that charge. I've done great, and sad to leave him, but I respect that as a leader. It's a new world for sure. So the key to that is making sure that your people know how to use AI, that they're comfortable in it, that opens up the doors. I loved your story of progressing up through the stores, going to the home office. There's so many of those at Walmart. It's really amazing. You see that badge with the number of years of service when they come from the stores. I just love, that's something so unique to Walmart that I've never seen in other companies that I've worked for. It's really incredible. So I feel like they are passionate about upskilling their employees, and Google's happy to be walking alongside them in that. Anything we can do to make them better, because as they get more comfortable, they'll be able to pursue whatever passion they are led to, whether that's to stay in the stores, move up to leadership, move up to corporate. All of those things are enabled, but they need to be taught those skills in every level of job. And I think that that's what I see Donna embracing, is equipping her people to have the skills, no matter even if they stay with Walmart. They need to be training up in this. This is the next, evolution that we're all in, and we all need to be doing it.
Right. Well, you're absolutely right. And, one of the things I give a little advertisement for April 29th, we do live events, monthly live events here at Doing Business in Bentonville now. And back in the day when I started 8-9 years ago, doing business in Bentonville, we did live events before the podcast. And so we began to start those up again in December. And April 29th, I'm so happy that Erika's going to be joining us with a live event. And we're going to have a group of human resource executives there from some major companies, Tyson Foods, Walmart, JB Hunt, Trucking, some others will be there. And we're going to be discussing people and AI. And so if you're locally, we love you you can go to our website. You can find sign-up information there. It's a free event. You better hurry because it's only holds 100 and about 65 have already signed up. So, so Erika, I'm so excited you're going to be joining us.
Yes. And
we're going to talk a lot about, much more about this upskilling and reskilling, because that's really where we are with people. What John said in a letter recently, John Furter said, we've got to have people to do AI, but we need to retrain, redevelop, and refocus our people so we can improve our productivity, our efficiency, all of that. This is exciting times to be in the workforce.
It is. And I know so many people like to be afraid that AI is going to take their jobs. I really love to sit down with somebody and have a coffee and have that conversation, because here's my perspective. There are parts of our job that we love to do. There are parts of our job that we don't. I hate running expense reports. Like, that whole thing could be automated. Y'all, this is not complicated.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, so when you think about the things that you don't like to do, let AI be your best friend in that.
Yeah.
Let it take that intensity and that labor and that time and give it back to you, and let you do the things that you're passionate and excited about. And I think if you can think about AI as an enabler of doing things, or let's be clear, there are things. I'm trying to plan a trip in December, and I am using a platform that I'm not going to name because I'm sure we'll get in trouble if we don't get all of the rights. But in that platform, if I'm trying to make a decision, it is not equipped to do that. And so I'm having to pull that information out, and I'm having to run it through AI to help me put the information in a view that will make me able to make a decision.
Right.
And it's just not enabled yet. It will be in time. We're going to catch up with all of those things. But right now, if that capability doesn't exist in the way you want to process and decision, then let AI be your friend to make it easier on you, that you're not having to type everything in or load everything into a spreadsheet to make that analysis.
Yeah. I would tell you, it's already saving me so much time, and some of the things I don't like to do. And, and I smile when I do, you check it all really well. You should, but Gemini reminds you to do it. But the thing I love Gemini because it's such a great tool. And I think Google's doing a great job. And I just was reading all the upgrades that's just coming out in Gemini this morning, actually. And I was going through, I can make some music now. So I may do that, but okay, let's go back. Now, when you think about your company, and Google and Walmart, what's it like, being in this ecosystem here in Northwest Arkansas, the two great companies? How do you navigate you and your team every day? Talk about that. I mean, to me, that seems quite complex.
I may be a unicorn because I worked with Walmart for over 20 years. And some people ask, how is that possible? But It's kind of all I know. And so here's the deal. I feel like I get to sit in this amazing space of having really great people to work with that are solving really complicated, hard problems. And I get to use that curiosity to sit down and understand what's not working, and then match it up with ideally powerful tech that Google has to solve the problem. And then it's such a delighter. Like, when you have something that works and it takes time, gives you time back, it takes pressure off, it's just truly a delighter. And so that's what I do. I just sit down with different groups inside of Walmart and Sam's Club and meet with them, figure out what they're struggling with, and then figure out how we can go deploy that in a really smart way that's efficient, that helps them fulfill their mission of saving money and living better, and keep the costs in check, but that makes it more efficient for all their employees to have a better work experience.
Wonderful. So as you approach these type of meetings with Walmart and Sam's, how do you know what questions to ask?
Ooh, so good. You know, first and foremost, do your homework. Know who you're talking to.
Yeah.
There's so much out there that if you're not prepping for your conversations, that's probably step one. You can ask smart questions by doing some good homework and research, but I also think you can be humble. And I don't pretend to know Walmart's operations better than they do. And so if I don't understand something, I may get the general concept, but we may need to go later deeper in order to actually solve the problem. And so I think you have to come in with some humility, make space for them to talk about it. And, make sure you got the right people in the room. Like, you can have really great conversations, but it's going nowhere if you don't have all of the key stakeholders. At least in our business, Walmart has a model. It's called 4 in the box, where they bring in their product, they bring in their designers, they bring in their business and their tech. And when we bring all of that horsepower into a room, you can ask questions to the right people, get the right answers. And it's, really makes the progress go faster because we're clear from the get-go what we're trying to solve.
Okay, everyone, you just got the recipe. Okay. I mean, really, because, when you take two giants that sit in the room together, and both are excellent, and that's what they're focused on. I mean, they're focused on their customer, and do you shop stores? I mean, you shop Walmart, and do you? You may have to get home delivery with all your kids you have, but if you ever go to a store, I don't know how you'd ever have time. But let's just say one time you go to a store.
Robert might be my best friend. We might be at the house.
Yeah, that's right. So, but do you with all of that preparation that you just described, do you think about the end user, the shopper? So how do you prepare yourself for that?
Yeah. So, number one, we're blessed in Northwest Arkansas, maybe blessed or cursed, depending on how you view it, but we have Walmart.
We have lots.
We have lots of Walmarts.
You don't have to drive very far.
Really easy to get into Walmart and Sam's, for sure. I think that what's interesting is, number one, I always have to remind myself Walmarts don't look like Walmarts here in other areas.
That's right.
So it's great to get in the Walmart stores here, but they are very slanted because they're so well run, so well maintained. They have such high visibility back to their corporate. They get to test some really cool, innovative things that might not be in other markets. And so I have to remember where I'm at. And number two, like you said, you have to use what the company gives them. So I am a Walmart Plus member. I'm a Sam's member. I am every member you can imagine. And I am getting home delivery, but I'm also going into the stores and doing pickups. And when you experience the breadth of their services, like they now deliver your pharmacy, like you can get your prescriptions into your house. This is so time saving. You get to see where they're leaning in and pushing, and that helps you get grounded in it. But you also can see where it's not working. So one of the interesting things is they want to be an omni-channel retailer. You're purchasing online. You're trying to predict what the inventory is in store. You're trying to delight your customers by getting all of their products fulfilled. That sometimes doesn't happen. So then it also illuminates the areas where they're really having to lean in. Their inventory visibility has to be the best that it can possibly be, because they're predicting that Andy wants to have that delivered tomorrow at 10 o'clock, and they need to know that the store that you want to get it from can source it, put it in that order, and get it to you in that time frame. It adds a layer of scrutiny to their business that they've never had before.
Right.
So it's you gotta eat it, but then you also have to get outside of this market, and you need to go to other places. But it always has to be about the customer. If you do the Walmart cheer, it's like the customer is number one, always. And they do believe that, and we try to embody that as being one of their suppliers.
And I think whatever business you're in, and you heard what Erika say, you really got to keep that ultimate customer, whoever that is, in mind as you think through the process. And you got to go. And Sam, I mean, when I was at Walmart almost 30 years, and it was wonderful. I was able to spend a lot of time with Sam Walton, and he used to share with us all the time. We stand on the backs of our people to get this job done, to get this work done, and that's exactly what we still do today. Even though through all the omnichannel, the technology is here today, we need our people even more. We have to listen, and I love the fact that this week, I'm doing yard work and Walmart delivered my groceries. That was, I'm telling you, I just smiled the whole time, and whatever. And so it's so wonderful. Now, as we think about, as we sort of begin to wrap up a bit, I have so many more questions for you. That's why I told Eric, I said, hey, listen, can you come back? She said, I haven't been one time yet. I'm like, I have so many questions for you, but and I'm so enjoy our time together. But as we think about other things that you're really focused on at Google here with Walmart, what are some of those things that you would love to talk about?
So I would say that Walmart has made it very clear their agentic strategy. So AI is now evolving into agents, right? Because AI is great. It is intelligence, but the agents are focused on delivering real actions and real efficiencies. And so taking AI to enable those agents is kind of where we are focused right now. So Walmart has Sparky. So if you're on the website, you're like, hey, help me shop better. Sparky's there to help you. They're working on Squiggly, which is going to be for their associates facing. YB is for their developers. They, of course, I'm going to forget the last one. Marty is the one that's going to be for their merchants. And so for one thing that's really powerful to me is I think strategy when it comes to AI, it has to come from the top of a vision. They need to cast a vision. And I think that they did that by saying, we're going to pursue and support our business this way. Then by having a construct, you can have each of the teams quickly iterating and building under those agents what is actually needed for the business. So they set the construct. And so now you can go work within the construct to go solve whatever problems are there. Otherwise, it's wild, wild west. You just can't have everybody going and doing and creating because then you're like, oh, we have too much going on and it doesn't work together or it's not in the right data sources. And so we spend a lot of time helping to bring those to life, to make sure that the data can be connected. I think that's one thing that's unique about Google is we've got an API for that. We will plug in anything you need to connect all of these data sources. You don't have to just use Google. You can have your M365. You can have all of these other capabilities, Salesforce and anything you want, and we can plug into that. Yeah. And so that's maybe one of the differentials that Google has in their approach and how we do business.
Good. Now, there is a big event in Las Vegas, right?
Yeah.
You're going to. So, and can you talk about what you're going to be going to Vegas, what you're doing? I know it says you can't say anything when you go out there. It stays there, but you haven't been yet. Could you tell us what's happening?
Yes. Our annual event is called Google Cloud Next. And that is in Vegas and it's a global event. We invite our customers and our partners and we bring all of the really smart product people and they are going to stand up on stage and they're going to talk about all of the cool stuff that they're building. So if you take somebody who doesn't know Google well, it's a great forum to go learn. And there is no shortage of speakers. It's in the hundreds of speaking engagements that will happen over those 2 days. There's, of course, the keynote. They'll talk about customer success stories. So you can not only hear about the tech, but you can see where it's working and practically hear from those leaders of how it's transforming their business. And so we'll be there and we're excited. It's a time that I would mark on your calendar to look for all of the announcements because that is when we make a big moment and then we announce a lot of the stuff that's coming. So if you want to get in on all of the AI stuff from a Google perspective, that's the beat to look for.
Okay. And for all of our viewers and listeners, guess what? She's coming back after the event, and she's going to talk about it, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm
looking up your whole year's calendar.
Listen, you're welcome. I want to tell you, Erika, what a pleasure to have spent some time with you today. And I can't thank you enough for taking out of this crazy schedule you have, and the passion that you have not only for work but your family and the nonprofit it's inspiring. It is. It's very inspiring, and to have you to be here for that, we really appreciate that here doing business in Bentonville. Now, also, not only she's going to come back and talk about what happened in Las Vegas, as I mentioned a few moments ago, it's just going to be part of our AI and People live event here in Northwest Arkansas. And we're going to talk much more about Google and what's going on in that whole world around AI in the future. And so any closing thoughts that you have that you'd like to share before we wrap up?
Yeah, I just want to be an advocate to embrace technology and be excited about what's in front of you and be curious. I would just encourage you to start with your personal life, figure out ways that you can find efficiencies and improvements using AI. I'm naturally biased towards Gemini, but there are other tools out there, and we just want people to embrace the technology. But I think as you can bring something into your life and do it personally, I think that it gives you that confidence to see where it thrives and where it shows up best. And then you can bring that to your employer and into your workplace, and you can start finding the efficiencies there. It's so broad, and don't be overwhelmed and don't be intimidated. Just try and learn. And I think you'll be blown away by how much it'll transform the way you live your life, the way you do your job. And all of that is what the world needs right now, is just that productivity and that learning and that curiosity. So,
well, wonderful. Again, Erika, thank you. Thank you to all of our viewers and listeners. Again, as I said at the top of the show, thank you, because you're making this all possible for us. And with your support, don't hesitate. Reach out to me on LinkedIn if you have any questions at all. I'll answer you back. So again, thank you. Thank you, Erika. We appreciate it. Goodbye, everyone. Have a great day.